Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back at you with another video. I was having some technical issues for some reason on Facebook, so that's why the Facebook version hasn't got a title, but I'll do my best to copy the link from YouTube. I often do that for that very reason, as well as the fact I hope people will check out my YouTube channel and be kind enough to support it. I always welcome that and appreciate it, especially if you drop me any comments. This is a really controversial video that I've been thinking about for a while, and a sort of, I suppose you could say it's an idea, but I'm seeking opinions really. It's more of a question than an answer. I'm not really giving the answer myself. I discussed it with a few people who disagreed. One of them was one of my sisters. She disagreed with this idea, and a few people have said that it is their country, as they say, therefore they shouldn't move. But I was thinking, because of the situation, Israel and Palestine, where there's like unfortunately a lot of civilians, and I'm sure most innocent civilians being injured and even killed and whatnot. I thought countries that have invaded or colonized is a bit annoying. I did post it with the title and everything, but as I said, I'm unable to record for some reason. But as I say, because of the fact that many nations colonized Palestine in the past, and including especially Britain, who apparently they also they had human rights violations on the civilians. I was thinking, would it be fair for Palestinians to be able to legally, most importantly legally, seek refuge and be supported in seeking migration and refuge to nations such as Britain? And I was thinking, there are certain nations which I think it could be argued should have to take in more Palestinian refugees, migrants and refugees, those fleeing a terrible war situation. I mean, I know, I suppose some people would argue as well that it would be difficult to ensure that people with more extreme views that would not be able to leave, and it's only the innocent civilians. But I think the situation obviously is very dire. I think there's been about 20,000 deaths and counting. Unfortunately, I don't think there was a truce over Christmas, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't really been following the news because I think it's too depressing. And I know there's been casualties on both sides, but I was wondering, I really want to gauge other people's opinions. So I think the big question is, should nations be should other nations be encouraged or even enforced? In some cases, perhaps I don't like force. I don't want to force anyone to do anything they don't want to do, really, except for obey the law, other than not hurt other people or take away other people's freedom. Should the international community, the UN and others, come together, migrant and refugee agencies, and give more access to migrational rights and refuge rights and things like that? I'd love to know, and if so, which nations should have to take them in? Should it be neighbouring Middle Eastern or Arab nations, or should it be, some might argue, they should be part of the Brotherhood and support their own fellow Arabians or Middle Easterners or whatnot, or should it be nations that invaded them, like Britain or like Germany, because obviously the Holocaust that happened in history led to this exodus and arguably led to a lot of the conflict that's happened in the Middle East. So should Germany have to take some in? Should Britain have to take some in, due to the Balfour Declaration and the fact that Britain ran Palestine and also had, I say, the Balfour Declaration? So for those two reasons, invading Palestine historically and having the Balfour Declaration, or Germany because of the Holocaust, or nations that have supplied arms to Israel like Britain, Germany, France, or even Italy. The ones who are good at football, probably I'd want to go to Italy, but I think even Rome probably at one point invaded Palestine, I'm pretty sure, in fact, and were responsible for a lot of the troubles in the Middle East, arguably. Maybe America as well, because they are allies to Israel, so perhaps it could be argued that they have some sort of influence in this conflict. I would say France, so it could be Britain, it could be some of the Arab nations, Middle Eastern nations, even Turkey, who said they support the Palestinians, so maybe that could be an argument for such, or should it be some of the European nations, or a mixture of those, so some be able to go to Arab nations, some to Turkey, some to other parts of the Middle East, other Mediterranean nations perhaps, and maybe some of the nations that like Britain, France, Germany, maybe even Italy, or especially the ones who are good at football, and those who like football and that kind of thing, in my opinion, and also America perhaps, or even other people who are allies of Israel, maybe in Australia, who have been involved in arguably a lot of these sorts of things. So I'd love to know what you think, and really I'm asking the question. I'm not saying it should or should not happen, and some people say they should be able to stay in their country where they grew up and things like that. But if the situation doesn't improve for a long time, I think it'd be good for the civilians to at least be able to seek refuge and security. But I'd love to have an opinion poll. I wish I was more organised and put an opinion poll. I wish that Facebook didn't say my video couldn't go live for some reason, and I had to restart it, and I don't have the title for it that I put in as I type the damn title in and the description. But it's pretty much the same as the one I put on YouTube, so I'll hopefully that link will share properly. Otherwise I'm definitely having tech issues again, or further tech issues. But yeah, it's a controversial question. I know it's one I've been thinking about for a while. But any views, I hope you'll be amicable, especially with each other, in the comment section. I'll try and take it on the chin if people are not with me. Even if you want to write negative stuff or criticism, or especially constructive criticism preferably, or even positive comments, or even if you think that's an interesting idea and something that could be worked around with international bodies, migrant and refugee agencies, the UN and whoever else, even the EU perhaps, for instance, or others, or maybe even nations that have been favourable to Palestine, like South Africa or a place like that, maybe. Although I think it would be fairer to argue nations that have colonised in the past, colonised Palestine or whatever, or contribute to this issue. So even though I'm a British citizen, I'm not that patriotic anyway, but I think there is an argument due to, as I say, two things: one, colonisation of Palestine, and two, the Balfour Declaration, which many people might say kicked off a lot of these problems, perhaps. Obviously, sometimes ideologies or whatever might get in the way as well, politics and all that kind of thing. But so whether those problems would have happened anyway, who knows? But one thing I was thinking of is, even though I really don't like lightning because I'm a chicken, I thought maybe God could show a sign to say what side he's on, because I thought maybe he could make, and though I don't like people or even living things at all suffering, I love to alleviate suffering as much as possible, maybe, and especially the problems that have already happened in the Middle East. Maybe God can make a small amount of lightning in one area, and then people could say, oh, that's a sign that God's on that side. So, or maybe even in both places, say he's not on either side or something like that. But I just thought I'd share that mad thought of mine. But yeah, hopefully it would cause the minimal amount of damage possible and just be like a sign or a symbol of what side God's on. But as ever, I'd love to know what people think, and I hope people won't be too harsh. I know some people have strong opinions either way, but I hope people will be amicable with each other, at least as much as possible, in the comment section. Please be amongst the first to comment on this view, any views you have, and I'm going to wrap this video up anyway. So yeah, I had a few technical issues before. Hopefully I won't have any more. Anyway, I'm out. Peace and love.